Hello, everybody. I had my earbuds in and I forgot. It's me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, where we explore the principles that allow us to thrive in change. The change we want, the change we don't, the change that we planned, the change that we didn't plan. Life is all about change. And if we aren't changing, we aren't growing. So I want to welcome you to the place where it is safe and it is fun to connect with other people who feel the same way. So I'm your host, Shannon LaBruyere. I am the uh, founder. I was kind of going to say owner, which is true, but I am the founder of the Livestream Leadership Program, which is a mastermind program designed for women to equip them to lead themselves and others well. And I'm glad to have you here. If you are new to Sunday Night Live, by all means, type your name in and say hi. Let us know where you're from in the comments. And if you're old hands at Sunday Night Live, by all means, type your name in the comments and say hi. I would love to see you and know that you're here. Facebook has mixed up. Now that sounded so judgy. Facebook has added new features to the live video that I'm doing. And frankly, I didn't know that was coming. So I think I've got lots of special things on this dashboard. So I'm going to be thriving in change as we go through our video tonight. And let's see, why is it not showing me? Oh, there we go. I found it, you guys, my comments. Laura, it's good to see you and welcome. So glad you're here. Okay, so tonight's, man, I'm having that little gap every time I go to say something. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to let it out slow. All right, I'm going to focus here. I'm not going to be rattled by all these new bells and whistles that Facebook has given us. All right, so tonight on Sunday Night Live, we are talking about intuition and the Thrive principle that represents is trust the process. Hashtag trust the process. Hashtag trust the process is the Thrive principle that we're going to be exploring tonight. And our intuition is one of those things that sometimes people really rely on it. Other times we don't rely on it. And I want us to be able to know when that's good, when it's not. So we're going to talk about our intuition and how our intuition can help us to thrive and change. All right. So hashtag trust the process. Let me see. Tonight's episode of Sunday Night Live is brought to you by Thumb Roast Coffee. Yay! My favorite coffee. Oh my word, you guys. I went through a bag of Sanilac Sunrise and it was amazing. But I got Blue Lake this last time. And oh my word, it's so good. I've missed Blue Lake. So if you're just getting started with Thumb Roast Coffee, by all means, a great place to start is with Sanilac Sunrise. It's classic morning brew. It's delicious. But if you want to try a little something extra, I recommend that you try Blue Lake. It is my favorite. And the good news is, even if you don't live within driving distance of Thumb Roast Coffee, you can still get it by going to thumbroastcoffee.com, typing in the coupon code THRIVE, THRIVE, and you will be able to share the same coffee that I get to drink in the morning. So we'll be sharing an experience, even if we aren't sitting across the table from each other. If you're drinking some Thumb Roast coffee tomorrow morning, you can rest assured you've got some company, because I definitely am. All right, with that, we are going to jump in. All right, let's see. I want to make sure I can see those comments. So if you are here and you haven't commented yet, feel free to do so. And I will say hi. I'm just wanting to make sure I can see everything I need to see. All right, good. Let's get started. We're talking about intuition. There's Corey. Hi, glad to see you here. All right, so not everyone is intuitive in every area of life. Not everyone is an intuitive leader. Not everyone is an intuitive parent. Not everyone is an intuitive retail counter operator, right? Um, just because, though, you don't necessarily have intuition in a certain area doesn't mean that you don't have intuition. And intuition is really hard to explain because it's not concrete. You cannot go to your local Barnes and Noble and say, I would like to purchase a book that explains my intuition. You know, you can't take that deep dive into the specifics of your intuition without you knowing it first. Nothing else is going to tell you what your intuition is, okay? But there are clues, and I want you to know that. So don't feel like all is lost if you don't know enough about your intuition or you don't know where it lies. But I do want you to know that it's not the kind of thing that you can go and get a pound of intuition. You just can't purchase it at the store. You're not going to be able to walk into Myers and go to Myers. Wow, my Midwest Michigan vernacular coming out there. You will not be able to go to Meijer and go to the bulk food aisle and buy a pound of intuition. It doesn't work that way, but everybody has it. Intuition is real. And for you to be able to thrive and change at a really high rock star level, understanding your intuition and treating it like an asset is powerful. So we are going to hashtag trust the process of exactly what intuition is and how we can cultivate it. All right. My mother loved to watch the Kentucky Derby on television. Anybody else? Back in the day when we were kids especially, that was a big event. And we would watch, I don't know if it was on the ABC Wide World of Sports. Anybody, does that resonate with some of you old timers in the Thrive and Change audience? We would get together as a family. We would watch the Kentucky Derby. And on the morning of the race, my siblings and I would choose the horse we thought would win. We each got to choose a horse. So with nothing else to go on, we'd use our intuition to do the picking. So unfortunately, Bodacious Tatas, which was my choice in 1985, was not a winner. Who'd have thought? Neither was, what am I, chopped liver? An actual horse name. My intuition for picking winning racehorses is terrible, historically terrible. I have never chosen one in my history of watching the Kentucky Derby. Why do I stink so bad at picking Kentucky Derby winners? Because I don't know anything about them. I know nothing about horses. Nothing. Sure, a person might get lucky from time to time, and you would have thought I would have, but turns out no. Somebody might get lucky from time to time, but if somebody is lucky very often, there is often something else at play. That something else is strength. So I want you to think a minute about times when you felt really lucky, or somebody said, oh man, you're so lucky. And I'm not talking about that you won the diaper drawing at the baby shower because you brought diapers and you won a basket. I'm not talking about that kind of lucky. I'm talking about when somebody looks at you when you're in a job that suits you and you're just shining and thriving, and they look at you and they go, you know what, you're just so lucky. You just keep getting all these good jobs. Really? Was that luck? Was that luck? No. Even if you weren't actively seeking for the opportunities that came your way, there is a strength underlying that doesn't make it lucky. And of course, we know that luck is 99% action, right? And 1%, what do they call it? Serendipity. No such thing as luck as far as I'm concerned. But when somebody's lucky, very often, it is often because there is an underlying strength that they may not even recognize. Intuition is rooted in strength. And if you're taking notes, you can write that down. Intuition is rooted in strength. You'll need to know that in a few minutes. The more strength we have in an area, the more intuitive we can be. In a way, intuition is an illusion. It seems mysterious, again, because it's not concrete, but there's an underlying principle to all intuition. In your area of giftedness, your strength zone, your subconscious mind is analyzing situations. It is doing the mental math. It is operating at such a fast speed, you don't even realize what's happening. You're figuring things out on an unconscious level at the speed of light. It might even be faster. It's fast. And the answer that you might seem to pull out of thin air is actually coming from within you. Have you ever done that? Somebody asked you a question. Maybe they said, hey, how long is it going to take for us to get from, our house to the Lucky Steakhouse in Imlay City? And somebody asked me that. With just a split second, I can tell you that's going to be about 40 minutes. Why? Because I have driven that path a lot. I am so good at estimating how long is it going to take me to get from point A to point B. And maybe this has happened to you. Are you good at estimating how long it's going to take for you to get from your house to somewhere else? And you look at the clock and you see what time of day it is. And as long as there's no surprise construction, you're like within a minute. It's because your unconscious knows the roadmap. It knows the geography. And without you having to say, okay, so I'm going to turn left when I get out of my house, right? And then I'm going to make a right when I get to this road, and then I'm going to drive through. You don't have to walk through the step-by-step MapQuest for your intuition to speak up and say, yeah, I think it's going to take about 40, 45 minutes. Bam. That's intuition based on your strengths and your giftedness and the areas where you're wired really strong. You can have a good sense of what the outcome is going to be without having to do the mental math. So a person who has strengths in an area, an experience that compounds it, that sort of takes that strength and magnifies it, amplifies it, that person has the intuition necessary to seize the moment, often before others even recognize the opportunity. I want you to write this down. Strength plus experience equals intuition. Strength plus experience equals intuition. So one of our discussion items a couple of weeks back was identifying our strengths. Like, and actually it's probably been a few months now. Where am I good at things? What am I good at? What areas am I strong at? We've emphasized in ourselves so often the areas where we're weak and think we have to strengthen those and boost those and bolster them. And in some cases it's true. We need to give ourselves a little support in areas where we're truly weak. But to spend a whole lot of time trying to upgrade our weaknesses to strengths may not be the best use of our energy. When we can identify our strengths, what we're good at, where we're effective, when we can do that, and we are able to, hold on. All right, when we are able to identify our strengths, when we are able to, and sometimes we can't identify them for ourselves, okay? And I want us to think about that for a minute. When we, if you can't think of a strength that you have, ask somebody close to you what some of your strengths are, and they will be able to tell you. If you have a job, maybe a boss at work, a teammate, a colleague, a peer, maybe somebody in your family, but if you don't know what your strengths are, ask somebody so that you can identify those strengths, and then you can start developing those strengths. Because when you develop your strengths, unbeknownst to you until now, you are also intentionally or unintentionally developing your intuition. When you intentionally develop your strengths without even trying, you're also helping your intuition to have more to work with. When you're intentional about developing your strengths, you are going to develop them with increasing excellence, and that excellence is going to feed your unconscious. It's going to feed your intuition. It's going to inform your intuition. And that effort that you put in to intentionally develop your strengths gets internalized. And when you internalize those skills, they will work for you 24/7, 365. Michael Jordan, great basketball player. LeBron James, great basketball player. I'd list a Detroit Lion, but I don't know that any of them are great football players. Somebody help me if they are. I haven't seen anything great lately. But in sports, this is a real easy analogy for us to be able to make. Um, they practice every day. Every day, they work on their strengths to make their strengths better. They continually hone their strengths. When they are continually honing their strengths, what they are doing is creating a pathway from their unconscious to their physical actions, to their thinking, to their behavior. And as we do that, we create that pathway. When the pressure's on, we react in a way that's going to help us. It's going to magnify our strength. It's not going to make us weaker. When the pressure is on, if you spend time intentionally developing your strengths, when the pressure is on, your intuition is going to kick in, and it is going to be it's going to be effective. We are able to respond intuitively when the pressure is on quickly because we have continually, intentionally developed our strengths. When we intentionally develop our strengths, it feeds our intuition. And then when the time is right, we've got that powerful extra resource to pull on. Does that make sense? So if you've had good success with intuition, I would love to hear, where has your intuition served you well? I would love to hear when it hasn't. Where hasn't your intuition? Where did you follow your quote unquote gut and then it got you into trouble? We can learn from that. Okay, so if you are developing your strengths, you're already well on your way to developing your intuition. And now your conscious mind knows that you can trust your intuition in the area of your strengths. When I am working with a challenged work in a, how do I want to put this? As part of my job, I go into companies and I spend time sort of embedded in their environment. I'll spend a few days when I'm deeply working with a client. I will spend a few days and sit in the break room with the employees and chat. I will go to their staff meetings. I will talk to the union leadership if that's present in that location. I talk to all levels of employees. I talk to the custodians. I take a walk. I take a walk around the building and just notice what's going on. I pay attention to how people are standing. But I'm not constantly thinking, I need to pay attention to how people are standing. I need to make sure that I listen for XYZ in the break room. I don't have a checklist that does that. Because I've been coaching and working with challenged work groups and challenged leaders for so long, I know my intuition tells me where I need to go next. My intuition will say, oh, you know what? I need to make sure that I'm at that safety meeting. I got 3 meetings to choose from. And my intuition tells me, yeah, Shannon, go to that safety meeting. And when I went to the safety meeting, this actually happened to me. I could have gone to a staff meeting for one of the middle managers. I could have had a one-on-one with some of the key leaders in the office that I was working with, or I could have gone to the safety meeting that was a labor management team of union members and management members that were in charge of safety for the building. And my intuition told me I needed to go check out that safety meeting. Couldn't tell you why. I found out everything I needed to know in the first 15 minutes of that safety meeting. Everything I needed to know. I can't tell you exactly what told me that I needed to be there, but I can tell you that 20 years of working with challenged groups, having spent a day chatting with people, checking things out, that triggered my internal strengths, my intuition, and I went to that that safety meeting, and while I was there, I discovered pretty much every key reason that that office was failing. I saw the communication issues just flat out there. I saw the lack of trust spelled out. I saw it was like that was like a checklist. I was like, oh, there is low trust here. Ooh, nobody's taking action. They make promises they don't keep. On and on it went. That's getting a little deep into my area of expertise, but you get the idea. I knew where to go, not because my head figured it out, but because my intuition, based on years and years of intentional strengthening, knew where to take me. And I trusted my intuition. So, step one is identify your strengths. Identify your strengths. Step two is develop those strengths. Develop them intentionally. Intentionally develop them. Step three is use it. Use your gut. Listen to it and act on it. And if you're nervous, start small. Do not, do not tell yourself, Shannon said I needed to trust my intuition and then sell everything you own and go backpacking over in the Sierra. Don't do that. All right. That's not what we're talking about here. If you're not used to listening to your intuition, start small. Start small. Take a moment to not just ask your head, what should I do next? But ask your intuition, what feels right? What direction should I go? Should I go right or should I go left? Should I go to that meeting or should I go there? Is my intuition saying, you know what, for some reason I just think I need to call so and so. Listen to that. Listen to that. When you listen to your intuition, when it's whispering to you, hey, you need to call that guy that you haven't spoke to in a long time and ask him, how's his team doing? Listen to that little voice because your intuition is reading the situation so much more thoroughly than your cognitive brain is. Your unconscious picks up on so much more. In your area of strength, mine is facilitating, mine is coaching, right? Mine is working with challenged people and helping them grow and get better. In my area of strength, I listen to my intuition. If it tells me, call so and so, or certainly in coaching, ask this question. In your life, where you are at, whether you're a leader among people at the PTA, whether you're a leader at your church, maybe you're just a part of a team and you don't even consider yourself a leader. What about in your home and with your family? In your area of strength, how could you listen to your intuition and act on it? Practice doing that. Step one, you need to identify your strengths. Know what your strengths are. If you are not a horse expert or a horse racing aficionado, don't go put $1,000 on Bodacious Tatas because you are going to lose it. Number two is develop those strengths. When you know that there's a place where you actually glow, that you light up, that you're good, identify those strengths and start working in them. And then the third thing is start listening to your intuition. Use it so that you can get good at using it more. I want to say it's in the book From Good to Great. It might not be, but there is a leadership saying that says, if you wait until you're 90% sure to make a decision, you've waited too long and your opportunity is gone. In order for us to truly thrive and change, we have to start listening to our intuition because our intuition knows the answer before our brain does. And by the time our brain figures it out, opportunity is gone, our chance is missed, we've lost our momentum. Start listening to your intuition. Practice listening to it um, in smaller doses, in low risk situations. And then as you learn to trust it in your strength zone, you're going to find that your intuition is going to start acting more like a compass for you. And now you're not just constantly working at trying to figure things out. You're able to navigate change based on what your intuition tells you. But that intuition is not just scatterbrained, harebrained guesses. Your intuition is developed when you exercise your strengths and you allow your unconscious mind to do its lightning fast calculation and whisper an answer to you, and you listen to it and act.